Okay, so today I wanted to talk about the latest DLC Coiled Captors in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and the little bit of a goof up that occurred on the release of this game. So, as you can see, I'm fighting old Chums level 1, which is what we expected in the DLC. We knew we were going to get a few different levels of Chums that he was going to evolve, but because the game bugged out, some of us were actually able to fight Chums on all 4 levels. And I thought it would be pretty cool for you guys to see Chums on all 4 levels. Now, most of you may already have seen levels 1 and 2, and I'm still going to go through it for those of you who probably haven't checked out the DLC. But if you have, hang tight near the end of the video, guys. We're going to go over the last 2 and kind of give you an idea of what those combats look like if you haven't already seen it. Now, I appreciate everything that Gearbox has done, and I hate that they kind of botched the release of this with this type of bug, meaning that some of us, we just breezed through this way too quickly. Chums was not difficult. As you can see, Stage 2 Chums, he looks a little different. He's got a little more armor, but he's just as squishy, in my opinion, as the first stage of Chums. So it wasn't really that bad. The drop chance of loot on there was about the same, in my opinion. After each completion of the difficulty level on Chums, I would receive a message that said new gear unlocked, which was kind of cool in my opinion, and it also reminded me that my chaos was able to be increased as well. But let's get into the third form of Chums, where you'll actually see the difference and what most of you, maybe all of you, have not seen just yet. So, when you fight your tier 3 Chum boy, he's going to have a yellow bar this time, and he's going to have a little more armor, so he's going to look a little different than before. However, in my opinion, he had double the health, and it was just as quickly dissolved as if he didn't have the yellow bar at all. Mind you guys, I am on Chaos 20, so it wasn't super duper terrible. However, Chums was not that difficult in this run either. But the tier 4 Chums, guys, this is where it all gets serious and it all goes down. It's probably my favorite part about it all. So, tier 4 Chums looks like tier 3 Chums, except he has an amazing pulling effect, he throws the Tidebreaker Spell, and there's a lot of tornadoes floating around. Now, this is where I really give a shout out to Gearbox for being super creative in this. The idea that in their content that they're going to put a shark who controls tornadoes and water and put them in the air, and some would call this a Sharknado. Probably, this is tier 4 Chums, Sharknado, floating around. I couldn't find the guy. I didn't even know what was going on for a little bit until I looked up and seen that this guy is floating around for the entire second half of the battle. His second phase is a Sharknado in its truest form. Now, look guys, the content was not the best, okay? It was really short. It was cool that they upped our chaos levels. It was cool that they gave us another way to get interesting loot. It was awesome that they added some new attainable items. However, it was way too short. It was way too easy, and maybe it would have been different if I were on Chaos 35, but I wasn't, and this is kind of what we got here. Of course, with all the giggles and jokes aside, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has brought a fresh look on the Borderlands franchise, in my honest opinion. Albeit this DLC was really easy, really short, and they tried to stretch it over a 3-week period, it still brought some value into the game's replayability. Now, I hope that Chums is super duper difficult at Chaos 35 when you meet him in the Chaos Chamber. I'm guaranteeing that they're going to make that a featured run at some point. But the question is, what's next, Gearbox? Aside from the Sharknado, what else do you have in your pocket? And I, for myself, can't wait to see.